Today, I wanted to talk about something that I've noticed, and I hope that you've noticed too, because there's stuff that we can learn from it. The internet is a very interesting place, right? There's so much going on, and there's so much that we can learn from it. And a lot of those resources are easily available. There are serious experts out there. But have you noticed that the background noise of the internet happens to be just a little bit negative? And I'm not thinking this is malicious or this is ill intentioned in any way. I think this is just how it is. This is because of how we are built as humans. At a very basic level, I think we were born with a fight or flight response to protect ourselves from harm. And if you think about it, what that basically means is we are tuned in to look for danger to ourselves. We are tuned in to look for bad news. And that's why there is negativity, because bad news is what you're biologically designed to look for. Think about it in the context of first a newspaper. Let's say you and I start a newspaper called, let's give it a nice and positive name, The Glorious Sunrise. And every morning we build a newspaper that gives you the most positive news there is. And the upshot of the newspaper is that last night 1.8 billion people went to bed, and today morning 1.8 billion people, they woke up having a great night's sleep. Would you read this newspaper? Would you come back tomorrow to read the next edition? Because it's probably going to say the same thing. In the same way, let's say you buy a motorcycle and you go out for a long ride on the weekend and you have a fantastic time, and now you feel compelled to make a video about it. It's a difficult thing to do because you have to string together a powerful story, which implies not just the storyline, but that you have the visuals to tell that story with. And now life has become very complicated. On the flip side, you bought this motorcycle and you discover every 50 kilometers, the chain adjustment just seems to completely lose it. This content piece is very easy to make. The background doesn't matter, the audio quality doesn't matter. You just have to get up and be angry enough and it will work. The point I'm making is that when I use the internet, when I'm trying to learn something, research something, just get a sense of what's going on, I always try and remember that the world is a slightly better place than what I'm seeing on the internet right now. This may not be true in specific cases. If there is a war report and I can't assume that the ground situation is better than what they're reporting, that's not right. But when it comes to things like motorcycle reviews or car reviews, gear reviews, I always think that the final product will be slightly better than what I'm hearing across media channels. And I also think that that's productive, because if your expectations are slightly lower and a vehicle outperforms them, that's a good thing. But if your expectations are super high and misplaced, a vehicle will underperform and you might miss out on the experience of a really nice vehicle in the process. The reason why we are looking for all of this information, of course, is because we are worried. But if you think about it, worrying is what you've been taught to do, and worrying is what the flight response, what the looking for bad news all comes from. Your mom didn't send you to school saying, go have fun and learn. She probably said, go have fun, learn, and if you don't, there's consequences. She didn't say, here's your new pencil box. They probably said, don't reach into the pencil box too fast. There's a compass in there, and the compass has a sharp point, and if you prick yourself, etc., etc. Right? When you cut yourself, you're not told to get a tetanus shot because it's the right thing to do. You're told to get the tetanus shot because if you didn't, all of these bad things would happen. It's subliminal and it's not badly intentioned, but this is how all of these conversations have been structured. You've been taught to worry. And I'm not saying worrying doesn't have its place. I'm just saying worrying by itself doesn't really achieve much. So when you buy a new motorcycle, or you're thinking about buying a new motorcycle or car, you're going to see a lot of videos about people who are complaining about what's gone wrong with their new purchase of that vehicle. Do you think that that means all the vehicles being purchased under that brand name of that model are all in trouble? That's probably not the case, right? Let's assume brand A sold 2,300 motorcycles last month and it's brand new. Are you seeing 2,300 videos saying this all went wrong? You're probably seeing 4, but these 4 people are extremely upset, and there is no reason on earth why they should have had that experience in the first place. Absolutely true. But that is informing a large part of your experience. Maybe the experience you are thinking is happening is a little bit misplaced. The final point that occurred to me as I said all of this is that I grew up in a generation where the internet wasn't a thing. And Think about it. We just didn't have as much information as is being thrown at you every second of your life. The reason why we seem to have longer attention spans is not because we are biologically different from you. It's just that when we developed our attention spans, we just had less, so we could focus on more for longer to make use of the same amount of time. And the reason why this is an issue is because when you know little, there's also less to worry about. And therefore, you will take more risks. And what happens when you take a risk is now and then you'll fail. And that's all right. Half the point of trying to do something new is the fact that you will fail, you will learn something from it that will inform your experience. You'll become a better person for it, you'll become more skilled for it, you'll make better decisions going ahead because of it. If you worry, honestly, nothing happens. But if you try, then you do get better. This is how we become better motorcycle riders. This is how we drive our cars better. This is how we become better citizens. This is how every successive vehicle, house, anything that you purchase, you make better decisions. It's not just because you did a lot of research. It's because you took a risk at some point, you learned something from it, and you learned how to manage the same kind of transaction better the next time around. So, what I'd like you to remember is one, the world is probably better than the internet makes it out to be. It's how the internet works, and that's how the world works. This is how they have a relationship with each other. Second, I'd like you guys to worry a lot less about what's happening, about the decisions you're about to make, about the decisions you've just finished making, and about what happens next. And third, take a risk, make a mistake. It's all right. It's how humans grow.